Yeah, thanks for being here. It seems like it's been a while. Maybe it's not been as long as I think, but it seems to be a while. And I appreciate all that you've done to cover our team and our university and our sport. But we're excited to kind of kick off the 24 campaign. You get through all the recruiting and you try to breathe a little bit in February as you also get ready for spring practice to begin. And here we are, jump back into it, and we're day one into spring, with day two being today, and then spring break happens, and then we really get down to business when we put the pads on when we return. So there's been a lot of positive things, I think, in our building since January. Many of those are coming from the player-led um, arena, which I love. I really think player-led teams are the best teams, and our culture council that was elected by our team has done an incredible job of setting the standard to which they expect things to be. We presented that to the team in January. It was accepted by all, and so once we accept it, then we all have to be accountable to that standard, and that unit of leadership has done a really nice job of saying, hey, if we say our lockers should look like this, then there's got to be accountability to every area, from the training table to academics to the way we approach work, our timeliness, our effort. And been really, really pleased with the leadership that I'm seeing from that group, and the energy that was at practice Tuesday I thought was really, really nice, and a carryover from everything that we've seen since they've come back from the Christmas break, and had works with our strength staff. And so excited about what I see heading into spring number 2 for us.
What's the biggest difference you've seen from a program standpoint from day one of spring last year? Not on the necessarily on the field, but just overall 1 year in heading into spring number two.
Accountability, no question, to the little things. It it seemed that we were just way too casual about our approach and a lot of things to me, and that's not an indication on that's an indication on staff, players, all of us. And um, I think the kids sensed it. I think we sensed it, and that's in our meetings in January. We said we can't take that approach, and if it's not addressed, then things tend to be repeated. And I need everyone to be accountable to whatever we say the standard is. And truthfully, the older I get, the more I probably need players to help me see. All right, maybe that's an unreasonable standard, coach. Because things have changed some, and so it was really big for me that the players would sit down and say, "All right, I want you to present to me, what do you think the standard should be, and let me." If I think y'all are way, way off, I'm going to say it, and you do the same for me. And we just had some really good conversations, and they came up with the presentation, and I just approved it because I did agree with their approach, and then presented it to the team. So I think that's the biggest difference I've seen thus far, is just there's a different energy too that comes with that, and to know there's no compromise. We hold each other accountable, and if you're one of the ones being held accountable and you don't like it, that's part of life. And because we agreed that this was the standard, and so I think that's the biggest difference I see.
Coach, you said after the bowl game you would have an open QB competition this spring. What does that look like, and how do you narrow down this spring to make sure you're doing that in the most effective way?
Yeah, that's the hardest thing is when you have 4 guys that you really want to get looks at, is getting them all quality reps. We would chart every single rep in endo, every single rep on footwork. I've got a team of 3 guys that are charged with that, and decision making, execution, and getting them quality reps. Obviously, you're going to get really good looks at Peyton and Holden and Hank, and then you want to get Walker some because I think he's so talented. I mean, his arm strength's phenomenal. He made throws the other day that I mean, it takes great arm strength to make, but he's swimming and everything's coming at him really fast right now, and we've got to find a way to slow that down and get him quality reps too. So it's a challenge to do that, but we're going to find out who grades out the best at leading our football team and executing the plan that we're putting in place. And you only do that through great reps. We're going to spend a lot of time doing a little something different this year on Tuesdays and Saturdays when we return from spring break are really going to be high-low days, padded days. Thursdays we're going to just teach. Just teach, be great coaches and teachers, and I think that's going to help our quarterbacks also and our young receivers, who I'm really excited about. But we got to teach them a lot of things, and so we're going to take that approach this spring. But you got to get out the quarterbacks the reps and see who executes. Day one, it was a very, very challenging. Y'all were out there. The win was a challenging day for quarterbacks. For sure. I thought Hank Brown threw it extremely well in those conditions, and anxious to see his continued growth along with the others. Well, every spot is wide open in my mind right now. Now, let me be clear. I think Peyton has done an incredible job since January of taking the leadership role and setting the standard. Do I think it's his to lose? Yes. But he's got to go earn it every day. And we're not in a position where we can just say that it's given to somebody. He's got to, we're changing our whole verbiage, our whole system back to what I'm comfortable with, and I need to see who has the best grasp on that.
Hugh, now that you're starting a full season again, looking back on last year, were there lessons that you learned professionally, things that you kind of gleaned from that experience?
Oh, I think every experience we have, if we're not learning, then we're probably wasting an opportunity. And, there's some things that I'd rather probably not talk about that I learned. It's my word for 2024 is truth. I just want unashamed truth, no half truths, no just hit me right between the eyes, and I'll do the same with you. And I think you've always got to be really, really comfortable with your surroundings and with the culture that is being created. And, last year was frustrating in the fact that I did not think I was able to reach a group of kids to be consistent in every single game, in every single practice. And that was the most frustrating thing. And so I have to look at that, and I have to go study, why could I not reach that group to we should have won a few more games. And so you have to look at those things and evaluate yourself, your approach, your staff, and obviously your team too, your roster. And, we can point to a lot of different things, but ultimately it's my job to make sure that the approach is one that our kids are giving Auburn University its best every single opportunity that we get. And in this new day and age, my way of, man, it's the love for your school and the love for your teammates and the love for each other that should be the greatest motivation. I think I've got to adjust that some. I still believe in it wholeheartedly. But that approach to get that through is more challenging in these days and times. But I still believe in it firmly. And but yes, there was a lot of lessons that hopefully we all learned and we'll make adjustments and improvements on.
Talking about changes, you've got quite a few changes in the staff. You've got prior relationships where the offense, it would seem like, would be able to be on the same page pretty quickly. But just talk about the the changes there and your
Yeah.
coaches?
Well, I mean, obviously we're we support Zach and Cadillac and their decisions, and Zach's now at Houston and Cadillac's with the Raiders, and we wish them the best. And but I'm so comfortable with Derek Nix and Ken Austin, and Maurice Harris is back in the building, and just really comfortable. They know my terminology. They've been with me before. It's been exciting to see Derek's growth as a coach, and to watch him lead now in that room, and to hear him talk about things, and me listen to him and Kent go back and forth with Ben and Jake and Marcus, and having Mo in there as an analyst is big, because he's been with me so many years. So there's no question that it's. And I have no one to blame but myself. It's not. This is not a negative toward anyone else. But yes, I'm very much more comfortable walking down the halls and walking in the offensive room and saying, "All right, now I know what that means, and that the adjustment I'm going to do off that if they do this comes naturally to me." And excited to again see Derek step into a leadership role there, and along with the other guys that we have. So defensively, hated to lose JG. Truthfully, kind of raised him, and he played for me, and to see his growth. But I totally understand it. But then really excited to give Vontrell a shot, and he falls in the mode of the other guys I've hired through the years, from Chris Kiffin to Trey Scott to Freddie Roach to JG, and they've all done really, really well, and I expect Vontrell to do the same. And so excited about his energy that he brings, and he's who the kids really wanted too. So it's good that we were kind of in alignment there. Then DJ Durkin brings just a vast amount of experience, and really when we interviewed him, it's the first defensive guy I've really interviewed that I felt like he coached defense like we coach offense. And I had the whole staff in there, and everybody kind of felt the same way. That man, I get that. That makes sense. It's simple, and our kids can play fast, and he is so detailed and demands effort and energy, and just have been really, really pleased with his leadership on that side. And then in personnel, getting Will Redmond from LSU. I've always had great admiration for him and the job he's done. He's doing a really nice job, and adding Kenyatta to that group. I think we got a lot stronger in a lot of areas, and I'm sure I'm forgetting somebody. Oh, Charles Kelly. I mean, I feel like he's been with me forever. That's a guy you're around a week, and you're like, man, you're like my brother. I mean, everybody knows Charles Kelly. And what a great mentor and great coach he is, and not to speak of the number of guys he's recruited, and he's returning to a place he loves. And so to have him and DJ leading our defense there is I'm real comfortable with that also.
Hugh, a lot has happened since January. What's spring feel like in the SEC without Nick Saban in Alabama?
Yeah, we actually talked this morning because it's next week's spring break, and we're trying to arrange a little golf match, and it's different for sure. We need his voice to help us try to change some things, and I think he's willing to do that because he has a great love for this sport, and we all kind of respect each other in different ways depending on your relationships. But it is. I understand it. I get it. I mean, he's done it at a high level for a long time, and I'm sure he and Miss Terry wanted to enjoy some different type of lifestyle. But I do think he still has an itch to try to help the game, and he'll have a voice to do that. I do think it also. I've known Kalen a long time. We were both in NAIA together. I was at Lambeth and he was at Sioux Falls, and so I've known him for a long time. And he's a great human being and a great football coach that has some big shoes to fill. But I respect him and the job that he'll do. but it's definitely you feel like it all could be fool's gold without hard work and success, but you do feel like, man, there might be an opening, to capitalize on why not Auburn right now, and that'll be our message, and I'm sure they'll have a strong message too, and both will still get good players, and but it is a different feel knowing Nick's not in the game right now.
And just to follow up, how has that absence, I guess, changed the league already?
There wasn't in our most recent SEC head coaches meeting. There wasn't a guy that was willing to yell and scream as much in there. We got to find out who that guy is. I think it's going to be Kirby. It comes a little more natural to him when we don't like something, voicing it. We always kind of depended on Nick to voice that in a forceful manner for us, and I think that's probably going to be given to Kirby. But it hadn't, I don't think the game has changed so much that it's really hard to separate, Nick's departure from all this other stuff we got going on. And the game is just constantly changing. Even now, I guess they're in Indianapolis, I believe, and deciding if we're having 5 or 10 signing days, or I don't know how many we're up to now. And I don't know. The game is definitely changing, and we're all searching for some parameters and sanity around it. And truthfully, I'm not sure anybody has the exact solution to what protects our game. It's one that we all love so much, and it has such passion and energy, and unfortunately, it's tied to a lot of money too, which is part of the dynamic that causes us all, some of these issues. And but boy, I sure don't want our game to lose what it's meant to so many people over the years, even you guys who have great jobs to cover what I think is the greatest sport. But it is in danger, I think, of us, losing some of the love that people may have for it because of all the different dynamics that are going on. And I think all of us are just searching for, man, give us some parameters that we all can work within and have some type of sanity and peace around, particularly building your roster and maintaining it.
You wanted to ask you what stands out about about 24 newcomers, and specifically Percy Lewis on the offensive line, Cam Coleman at wide receiver, and Jaron Thompson at safety.
Boy, glad we got all three of those. Let me tell you, Percy is a big human being, and he moves a lot better than you give him credit for. Now, his biggest, I love his demeanor. He's just one of those country boys that drove a bulldozer and motorcycles. I don't know how he got on a motorcycle that big, but that's one of the first things I told him is no more motorcycles. And he said, "Oh, Coach, I've tasted that asphalt many times." And I said, "You need to stay off of that." But he's just a fun kid to be around. Now, the biggest challenge right now is he's only played in the air raid. And that's quite different than what we're going to ask him to do. And but I was really impressed with his first practice and the way he bends and moves. Cam Coleman, God, just makes us look different. Can't tell you how excited I am about him. I don't want to put too much expectations on him as a freshman because he is just a freshman. And I know you guys don't want to hear it, but we're still in the early stages of building this program, particularly the way we're choosing to build it, hopefully through high school. And but man, when you watch him run around out there, we've improved ourselves, and he's naturally gifted. And I expect him to play as a freshman. Now, how well is he going to do as a freshman? We've had one practice, so it's really hard to say. But, boy, he's talented and smooth and tracks the ball as well as any that I've seen. Last one was Thompson. Love his energy. Love his knowledge of the game. He knows all three spots back there. he's been a leader, and he hadn't been here long. And he's vocal. He's played at a high level, at a good program. And think he's going to be really invaluable for us back there, being able to play multiple positions and help lead us. Because I like our young ones back there, too. They had a really good first practice. Those young guys are talented, but they need some experience back there like him and Keontae to kind of bring them along.
Hugh, you guys lost a couple of big guys on that defensive line, but you've got transfers, you've got freshmen coming in. What are you expecting to see this spring? What do you want to see, I should say, from the spring from that defensive line group as they kind of get a little overhauled a little bit?
Yeah, I think the biggest question mark we have right now is the interior, the girth on the interior, losing, Marcus and Justin and Lawrence. We lost some guys that played significant snaps for us and two of our most productive ones. Excited to get those transfers in here, plus the young guys. I love our young class. I tell you, Morris and Waller are different now. They can bend, they can move, but again, they're just freshmen. Gage had a really good first practice, as did Trill, and we're going to need those two to step in. We need Jason Jones to really, come on and be the guy. And play every snap with great passion and energy. And Bobby is got to come on, and he's got the tools, we believe. DJ Reed's going to move inside. So we've got some guys in there. I do think we will still be searching in the spring portal for some more depth there, and maybe one more edge guy. Obviously, Falk has been an incredible leader for a sophomore. He's taken it as his mission to lead that front, and he's easy to follow because he does it the right way. And been good to see that also. And J Mack, obviously healthy, is a handful, but excited about those young kids behind them too.
Hugh, you mentioned the offense now being more in your hands. I guess, what would you like that to look like? I know it's early, and maybe what are going to be some of the big differences that we might notice from
Well,
last
I
season?
want to get back to the only thing I've known that's given us success everywhere we've been is the RPO-driven run game, and then the play-action passes off of it. And, in order to do that, you've got to have a receiver or three that can win in some one-on-ones and quarterbacks that can execute it. And I do think our quarterbacks can do that. And the unknown right now is, all right, if they do play us an extra hat in the box, do we have the slot that's going to go in? Do we have the boundary X that's going to go in? And that's what, is I'm cautiously optimistic, and so I don't want to leave here with the receivers thinking I was already after day one. I'm excited and hopeful and optimistic, but that's what we've got to be and you add the version of tempo to that depending on, I think we'll be able to go as fast as anybody in the country we have in the past. Is that smart? I don't know yet exactly what that looks like of how much we'll do that, but we're certainly going to be prepared to.
Hey, you talking about defense? What are some things you expect to be different under Durkin compared to last year under Ron Roberts? What do you think it's going to look like?
Yeah, we were pretty good a lot of the year on defense, truthfully, and I think we're going to be more consistent in our effort and not give up as many explosive plays. Hopefully, that's what I was really impressed with. His whole deal is, man, we're building every call we make from top down, and our deal is we don't give up these explosive plays. And we gave up too many in critical moments. And Ron did a great job of calling games and is a brilliant defensive coach. I do think DJ is going to bring a different energy and different feel to that side of the ball and hopefully improve linebacker play, which we need Eugene and Austin and those guys. And obviously to get Mossy here, I've been really impressed with him too. What a mature kid he is and brilliant football mind. I hope we get the same stats he produced at A&M in year one. That would be pretty nice.
Hey, Hugh, back to the quarterbacks for a second. A lot goes into that position, but for your offense, the way you want that offense to move and to go, what would you say are the three most important characteristics or attributes of a quarterback in a Hugh Freeze offense?
Decision making, number one. Accuracy, number two. And I'm sorry. Take care of the ball, number one. Decision making, number two, and then accuracy, number three. Obviously, you get into 4 and 5, you're talking about the leadership qualities that a team wants to be with you. And I've had it. Chad Kelly at Ole Miss, the year we won the Sugar Bowl, was Chad knows I love him. We talk all the time. But not many hung out with him when he left the locker room sometimes. But I'm going to tell you what, there was not a single guy that didn't want him in that huddle. And you want that in your quarterback, is that, man, the huddle wants you in there. And I'm looking for somebody to really earn that this spring and fall.
Coach, earlier you touched on accountability and how your word for 2024 is truth. Is there a phrase or theme that's been selected for this team this season?
Not yet, but I'm working on it spring break. I've got a book that I'm really excited about reading next week, and it's called Think Ahead. And I've already read a couple chapters, and I think my whole teaching series will come from that book. I asked the author 2 days ago if he was okay with me using his stuff, and he said yes, go for it. So come after spring break, we'll kind of start. The word for spring practice is casual, and I want it with a big X. And so that's kind of our approach in spring, and then I'll start developing kind of our themes along with the Culture Council. I'll let them have a say in it.
I can't believe you read books. I haven't read a book in 10 years. God bless you.
I don't read many, but I try to read at least 2 a year.
Try to make it count. I got you.
Yeah.
Listen, Lane Kiffin is a joker on social media. You know that.
Yeah.
He almost felt like he was trying to dare you into hiring Derek Nix. What did you make of what he was trying to do to you there?
Look, I love Lane. I love his family, and y'all believe it or not, I'm not reading a lot of Twitter these days, so I don't know. I mean, but you know, Nick's, I hired him first, so I guess I have a right to him. I don't know. No, that was up to Derek as to what he wanted to do, and I'm glad he chose to come with us. But Lane, whatever he's doing is working for him, it seems.
Well, let's see. I had a couple, but back to when you're talking accountability and a lot of it coming from your players, who were some of the guys that you felt stepped up as leaders through the offseason and winter workout?
Let's see. I'll go in the running back room. Damari Austin and Jarquez. Quarterback Peyton is on it. Tight end Luke Deal. O-line Connor Liu and D. Wade. Receiver Jay Fair. He's done a really nice job. Defense J. Mack. Keldrick Falk, Eugene, Keontae, Champ Anthony has done a really nice job of leading. I hope. How many was that? 12? Did I forget anybody? I hope I didn't. But those are guys that really have taken the leadership and saying, you know, if one of our guys has to need some enrichment for not meeting the standard, then we want to handle it, and it's agreement we have with our positions, and I've been really pleased with their leadership.
Coach, last spring you talked about guys ending up on lists and maybe how you felt about that. You also said last spring that Auburn has the resources to make kids feel blessed, but that can't come with entitlement.
Yeah.
How's the team doing with both those things?
Yeah, well, I think that's probably the most improvement. When I say accountability, it's these lists are way down, and there's nobody turning an eye to them anymore. And even not the list. It's as simple as the locker. This is the picture of our lockers, and this is the way it should look every single day. And we should be accountable to that, and that's not too big of an expectation. I'm still afraid that I talked to an NFL guy. I'm off on my tangent again, Mike, so forgive me, but and they're frustrated with some of the things that we're I say we that is coming to them now from the college game. Like one of them this morning, I honestly had a conversation, and this NFL scout says, do you believe that there's kids that are wanting to know their NIL agreement to come to the combine? And they're just like, man, we don't even know if they know how to work through something that's hard. And we're going to give them a 4-year contract or draft them where, collective bargaining now slots them. And that's the truth that people like me that are older, I'm not running from, and I'm telling our kids, I'm just telling y'all the hard truths. Life is not always as easy as you have it. That's creating this entitlement if you're not careful. And you're setting yourself up to possibly fail at what's bigger down the road, whether it's family or job or NFL, if we don't handle the things that come our way right now. So, yeah, you're blessed. Auburn has the resources to bless you. But at some point, you have to earn the right to be blessed, and you have to continue to do that, and it's not given. It must be earned, and so I do think, we are a lot further along with having those honest discussions, and I had a full year to recruit the class, and we got to know each other, and I got to be very candid with them, and they could be candid with us, and we didn't get very many in the portal. I was intentional with the high school kids, and not that we didn't go after some portal, but it seemed like it was for the wrong reasons in a lot of ways, and I may have to adjust my approach to that, but I sure would. I believe in our administration here. I think they're going to give us time to build this the right way. I know that everybody wants it to happen immediate, including me. But I sure want to build something that's sustainable. And that's still a juggling act for me, and trying to figure out exactly what that looks like and how to do that with the portal world and the building a culture and I'd like to do it through the high school primarily, and the hardest thing is figuring out how many of yours you're retaining. We begged them at our SEC head coaches meeting, man, give us after the season, we ought to be able to give Mike a contract and say, hey, you're coming back, and you sign it, and I know you're coming back before you go home for Christmas. And then all of a sudden I get to January, and I don't know who's coming back, and it's the challenges we face with that are real and very, very difficult to – how do you really build a team that is consistent from year to year with some of the current ways we have? And hopefully I know they're discussing some changes even this week, even right now probably.